What a lovely plant we have here. Hello, all my friends out there in YouTube land. Gary Gregg here of Golden Gate Palms. And, well, I just couldn't help but to pull over when I saw my old friend here and tell you all about it. This is a plant I've used many times over my long and illustrious landscape career as a designer and a contractor and a nursery guy and just a general plant freak. So, name of this plant, Lantana montevidensis. Many of you will know that there's a very famous city in South America called Montevideo, and this plant here is native to that region. So I would just imagine that in Montevideo, it's a view of the mountain. There must be lantana all over the mountain in Montevideo. So that's always how I've conjured it up. Now, there are lots of different incarnations of this plant, lots of different colorations. We have pinks and reds and yellows and oranges. But here we have the most common variety of all, and that is just the purple lantana. And as you can see, it's mixed in with the white version of lantana, which is such a beautiful combination. I mean, those colors go together so well, and it adds so much more interest to the plant when you have multiple coloration within it. So these are two separate plants, and they're not one plant with multiple colored flowers. Plants like yesterday, today, and tomorrow are like that, where they fade over time. So is the royal trumpet vine, in similar colorations as here. But in this case, we have two separate plants. Now, what's cool about especially the purple lantana, and I think it goes for the white lantana as well, is you'll see that the foliage can be a purple itself. So it gives you kind of an interesting coloration on the foliage. Now, obviously, it blooms like crazy in spring, like most other things do. But you'll find this plant blooming kind of off and on all year. And it's super low maintenance. There's so many things you can do with it. As you can see here, I'm on this just nasty, parking lot. and somebody on the other side of the fence was nice enough to plant the lantana. It looks like over there, it's a little shaded over there. So I'm going to guess that even though they planted it on the other side of the fence, it's probably much more beautiful on this side of the fence, because not only does it get western sun, but you see the reflected light it gets off this building here. So the more light this plant gets, the more it'll bloom, the denser it will stay. It's typically semi-deer resistant, but you never know what any given deer is going to do in any given neighborhood at any given time. Because I've seen Algerian ivy live since the 50s, and then suddenly the deer decide they're going to eat it and they just decimate it. So you never know. This plant could get eaten as things get a little more tough and grown out. They tend to eat things less. But so this plant could be used as a ground cover. It could be used as obviously a climbing vine. It could be used as a draping vine. See that? You can plant it up high, let it drape down just like you would with rosemary, or you could plant it low and it'll actually clamber up. I've even seen these things, they get woody enough in here that I've even seen these things trained as patio trees. There's the wood. It would take quite a bit of work to train into a patio tree to get a trunk strong enough to support it, but I have seen that. I don't know what they were thinking, because the labor involved would just be astronomical. But anyway, this plant's hardy to probably 25 degrees. The purple variety is more hardy than the more colorful red, orange, and pink varieties. But all of them will, if there's a severe freeze, they still won't die. They'll just die down to the ground, and then they come sprouting back up. And at that point, you probably needed to cut it back anyway. So the freeze really sort of forces you to do the maintenance you were supposed to do before the freeze came. Now, one of the ways that I use this plant, which was so successful, is similar to this, brings back good memories. My mom has a rental house in Concord, California, and she had this ugly chain link 3-foot high fence out in front of this thing in the front yard, and it looked like a like a little penitentiary, mini penitentiary. And she wanted to get rid of this fence. And I'm like, hey, this fence is in perfect condition. It's useful if people have a dog or something that you rent it to. So anyway, what I did was I took this fence and I planted lantana on the bottom of it. And the whole fence is now purple. It's beautiful, low maintenance, easy. We maybe every now and then take a hedge trimmer to it to make it look really uniform, but you hardly even have to do that. I guarantee you here, no one has done anything to maintain this planting here. But yeah, lantana, get it to climb, get it to clamber, get it to cover, pretty much anything you want. So there you go, super drought tolerant once it's established, and that's all I know.